Hello everyone. The Iraqi government has just passed a new marriage law that will make pedophiles happy, namely legalizing child marriage. Iraq has passed amendments to its personal status law that are seen as legalizing child marriage. The amendments give Islamic courts greater authority over family matters including marriage, divorce, and inheritance. The newly passed changes will allow clerics to decide according to their interpretation of Islamic law. CNN reported that the amendment was interpreted by some as marriage of girls in their early teens or around 9 years old, as per the Jafari school of thought. The Jafari sect of Shia Islam is widely adhered to by Shia religious authorities in Iraq. According to the school of thought, the age limit for marriage for girls is 9 years old and for boys is 15 years old. The school of thought also allows guardians to marry off children who have not reached that age. Defenders of the amendments, including conservative lawmakers, see the changes as a means to align the law with Islamic principles and reduce Western influences on Iraqi culture. This is an important step in the process of improving justice and organizing the daily lives of citizens, said Iraqi Parliament Speaker Mahmoud al-Mashadani. Another member of parliament, Raid al-Maliki, also held a similar view. Regarding the civil status law, we fully support it and have no problem with it, al-Maliki said. However, activists say the amendments weaken Iraq's 1959 Personal Street Aiders Law, which unifies family law and establishes protections for women. Current Iraqi law sets the minimum age for marriage at 18 in most cases. Human rights activist and member of the Iraqi Women's League, Intisar al-Mayali, said the legalization of the law would have a negative impact on women and girls. Through early marriage of girls, which violates their right to life as children and will disrupt the protection mechanisms for divorce, custody, and inheritance for women, said Mayali. In addition to passing the amendments, the Iraqi parliament passed a general amnesty law and a land restitution law. This is from CNN World. Iraqi lawmakers pass a bill that critics say legalizes child marriage. Iraq's parliament passed 3 divisive laws Tuesday, including amendments to the country's personal status law that opponents say would in effect legalize child marriage. The amendments give Islamic courts increased authority over family matters, including marriage, divorce, and inheritance. Activists argue that this undermines Iraq's 1959 Personal Street Aiders Law, which unified family law and established safeguards for women. Proponents of the changes, which were advocated by primarily conservative Shiite lawmakers, defend them as a means to align the law with Islamic principles and reduce Western influence on Iraqi culture. Iraqi law currently sets 18 as the minimum age of marriage in most cases. The changes passed Tuesday would let clerics rule according to their interpretation of Islamic law, which some interpret to allow marriage of girls in their early teens or as young as 9 under the Jafari school of Islamic law, followed by many Shiite religious authorities in Iraq. The parliament also passed a general amnesty law, seen as benefiting Sunni detainees, and that's also seen as giving a pass to people involved in corruption and embezzlement. The chamber also passed a land restitution law aimed at addressing Kurdish territorial claims. Intisar al-Mayali, a human rights activist and a member of the Iraqi Women's League, said passage of the civil status law amendments will leave disastrous effects on the rights of women and girls through the marriage of girls at an early age, which violates their right to life as children, and will disrupt the protection mechanisms for divorce, custody, and inheritance for women. The session ended in chaos and accusations of procedural violations. Half of the lawmakers present in the session did not vote, which broke the legal quorum. A parliamentary official said on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to comment publicly. He said that some members protested loudly and others climbed onto the parliamentary podium. After the session, a number of legislators complained about the voting process, under which all 3 controversial laws, each of which was supported by different blocs, were voted on together. Regarding the civil status law, we are strongly supporting it and there were no issues with that, said Raid al-Maliki, an independent MP. But it was combined with other laws to be voted on together, and this might lead to a legal appeal at the federal court. Parliament Speaker Mahmoud al-Mashadani, in a statement, praised the law's passage as an important step in the process of enhancing justice and organizing the daily lives of citizens. Also Tuesday, at least 3 officers, including the national security chief of the Al-Tamiyah district north of Baghdad, were killed and 4 others wounded in an explosion at an ammunition depot. A security official said. The official, who spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to brief the media, said the explosion occurred as a joint force of the Iraqi army and the National Security Service conducted an operation following intelligence reports of the Islamic State group's activity and an ammunition cache in the area. This is from TheGuardian.com. The end of women and children's rights. Outrage as Iraqi law allows child marriage. The Iraqi parliament has passed a terrifying law permitting children as young as 9 to marry. Iraqi MPs and women's rights groups have reacted with horror to the Iraqi parliament passing a law permitting children as young as 9 years old to marry, with activists saying it will legalize child rape. Under the new law, which was agreed yesterday, religious authorities have been given the power to decide on family affairs, including marriage, divorce, and the care of children. It abolishes a previous ban on the marriage of children under the age of 18 in place since the 1950s. We have reached the end of women's rights and the end of children's rights in Iraq, said the lawyer Mohammed Juma, one of the most prominent opponents of the law. The Iraqi journalist Sajah Hashim said, "The fact that clerics have the upper hand in deciding the fate of women is terrifying. I fear everything that will come in my life as a woman." Activists said they feared the law would now also be applied retroactively to cases filed in courts before it was enacted, affecting rights to alimony and custody. Raya Fake, spokesperson for the feminist group Coalition 188, said, "We received an audio recording of a woman crying her eyes out because of the passage of this law, with her husband threatening to take her daughter away unless she gives up her rights to financial support." Child marriage has been a long-standing issue in Iraq, where 28% of girls were married before they turned 18, a 2023 UN survey found. While marriage is presented to some underage girls as a chance to escape poverty, many of the marriages end in failure, bringing lifelong consequences for young women, including social shame and a lack of opportunities because of unfinished schooling. Instead of tightening laws against underage marriage and helping girls from poorer backgrounds to complete their education, the new law allows the marriage of minors according to the religious sect under which the marriage contract is concluded. For Shia Muslims, which make up the majority in Iraq, the lowest age of marriage for girls will be 9 years old, while for Sunnis, the official age will be 15. Sajjad Salim, an independent MP, said, "The Iraqi state has never witnessed a decline in profanity that harmed Iraq's wealth and reputation as we are witnessing today." Alia Nasif, a member of the parliament's legal committee, said in a post online that the vote took place without the minimum number of MPs required to pass a law being present, and that she and other opponents of the law would be going to the Iraqi federal court to challenge the decision. Benin Elias, an Iraqi journalist and women's rights advocate, said, "I am not shocked, but this is not the time for tears nor surrender to barbaric decisions." Now, what is pedophilia? Pedophilia refers to a person who has a sexual interest in children who have not reached early adolescence, which generally means children under the age of 11. So why does Islam approve of a 9-year-old girl being married? Because that is the example set by Muhammad. Muhammad, who was over 50 years old at that time, married Aisha at the age of 6 and had intercourse with her at the age of 9, as recorded in many hadiths. One of them is Hadith Bukhari, 5134, that the Prophet married her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old. Hisham said, "I have been informed that Aisha remained with the Prophet for 9 years. Those of us who have a healthy mind and conscience will see that Muhammad marrying a minor is a despicable act called pedophilia and proves that he is not a prophet. But the Muslim mind is the other way around. Muslims will be angry if we call Muhammad a pedophile because they have an obligation to believe that Muhammad is a prophet with noble morals, so whatever Muhammad does, even if it is a despicable and barbaric act, must be defended with various reasons so that Muhammad continues to appear to have noble morals. Then why should we oppose this child marriage? Because child marriage is very contrary to humanity. Early child marriage threatens the lives, welfare, and future of girls around the world. Girls who marry will end their childhood and end their education. Domestic violence in early marriage is also very high because they are not yet ready to have sex. In addition, child marriage also threatens the life of the child. Early pregnancy increases the risk of death for the mother and child. In fact, there are also deaths of the bride on the first night due to bleeding in the genitals, as happened in Yemen recently. So we must prohibit opposing child marriage. Like it or not, we have to say that Islam is outdated. It is no longer in accordance with this era. That's all for this video. See you in the next video. Jesus bless you.